Hello, it's Listen Watch Go here, and today I'm compiling the perfect Black Sabbath album. So to create a consistent album, I thought the first thing to do would be to pick the Black Sabbath vocalist that would be singing on the album. And as much as I respect all five Black Sabbath vocalists, really that comes down to choosing between Ozzy Osbourne and Ronnie James Dio. Personally, I'm an Ozzy man. I think Dio is certainly the more technically capable singer of the two. Ozzy just encapsulates the dark, bleak, industrial Birmingham origins of the band, and I think his catalogue with Black Sabbath is certainly much stronger than Dio's. As Henry Rollins said, you can only trust yourself in the first 6 Black Sabbath albums. So I'll come clean at this point. Every pick on this list is from those first 6 albums. I've picked 11 tracks for this perfect Black Sabbath album, and for me, there was only ever going to be one opener, and that is possibly the most important song in the history of heavy metal. Some might say the first heavy metal song. It's the title track from the 1970 debut Black Sabbath album, Black Sabbath. Bands like Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple, the Jimi Hendrix Experience, around this time were really putting out some quite heavy hard rock music. I think Black Sabbath added this extra element of darkness and scariness that kind of gave the band that little shove from hard rock into heavy metal music, and I think for that reason, it's such an important track. Such a crushingly heavy opening riff. And frankly, I still think this is my favourite ever Black Sabbath song, the first one off the first album. So we've opened the album with an all-time great. I'm going to jump now to the end of the album and close the album the same way. I'm going to close the album with War Pigs.
Generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses, evil minds that plot destruction.
One of their more famous songs off one of their more famous albums, but there was no way this song wasn't going to make the cut, and I think Black Sabbath and War Pigs are the perfect 2 songs to bookend this album. So these have been 2 pretty obvious choices so far. I'm going to go now to track 2 with a track that I think is one of Black Sabbath's most underrated songs. A really fantastic song, Wheels of Confusion, the straightener off Volume 4. Not one of their heaviest songs, not one of their most well-known songs, but just a killer hard rock song. So on to track 3, I've chosen Children of the Grave, one of the heaviest, grooviest, coolest Black Sabbath songs off Master of Reality. Ozzy Osbourne himself has described it as one of their best songs, one of their coolest songs. It's got great rhythm, it's got great percussion, and I think it's the perfect choice for track 3. So, track 4, I'm going to do something a little bit controversial. This is a song that a lot of people would not have on their list. It's a song that I've heard some people describe this as the worst ever Black Sabbath song. And to some degree, I can understand why. That song is Changes. Understand why some people would call it cheesy or maybe not in keeping with what Black Sabbath were doing at that time, but I think it's actually a really heartfelt song. I think it also provides a good change of pace for the album, and I think that's one reason why Volume 4 is one of my favourite Black Sabbath albums, because of the variety on it, so I want to bring that onto this perfect album. So from the slower pace of changes, track 5 and 6 are going to be two of Black Sabbath's heaviest, most hard-hitting anthems. Both of these songs were absolute no-brainers for me to include on this list. Those are Sabbath Bloody Sabbath and Snowblind. Sabbath Bloody Sabbath with a killer riff, killer melody, and one of the first ever real heavy metal breakdowns. Snowblind, another great song. The band's Ode to Cocaine, of which they were doing a lot at the time. The middle eight before the solo of this song is just perfect. That leaves 4 songs to go. One of these I found very easy to choose. The other 3 were a bit trickier to whittle down. So I'm going to start with the one that I found an easy pick, and I'm going to place this in track 10. That song is Into the Void from Masters of Reality, one of their darkest songs, one of their heaviest riffs. So these last 3 were a little bit more difficult to pick. There's a few obvious ones that I could have chosen here which I have decided against. 2 that are notable by their absence are Paranoid and Iron Man, both of which are great songs, but I just didn't choose them for this list. Track 7, perhaps a slightly more obscure choice, but I've chosen Behind the Wall of Sleep, primarily just because I think it's a killer riff. Track 8, I've chosen another more upbeat, groovy track. This one's Hole in the Sky. I'm looking through a hole in the sky. I'm seeing nowhere through the eyes of my life. And track 9, I couldn't leave this off the album, from the debut record, NIB. Your love for me has just got to be real. Before you know the way I'm going. Now, of course, there were many, many, many great songs that I did not include on this. And I'm sure my list is very different to yours. Put in the comments what you agree with, what you don't agree with. I would love to see some other people's track lists for the perfect Black Sabbath album. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe. I'm going to be doing more of these with other bands. Please leave a comment for what band you think I should do next. Anything from heavy metal, hard rock, hip hop, punk, pop, anything you like. I've been listening, watch, go. Cheers.